Who is Jesus Christ? The identity of Christ revealed in the Transfiguration. Let me ask you guys a question. Let's say you get a phone call and you have no idea whose number that is. And the person on the other line starts talking. What's the number one question you ask? Or let's take another example. Let's say you're at a big event and someone comes up to you and starts talking, and the two of you begin to converse for a while. What's the number one question you ask? Who are you? Who is this? Probably that's the question, because we want to know who we're talking to, who we're dealing with. It's pretty natural that we ask that question, because in order for us to create a relationship or an association, we need to know who we're dealing with. Who is this person? Now, let me ask you a question. Can you build a relationship? Can you create an association with someone you have no idea who it is? The answer is you don't. You can't create that association. Now, every year on the 6th of August and also on the second Sunday of Lent, we read from the scriptures about the transfiguration of Jesus Christ. You see, the transfiguration is a very, very important event in the gospel. Because in a nutshell, the transfiguration symbolizes something very important. But before we get there, I want to just briefly cover a little bit about the events leading up to the transfiguration. You see, Jesus called his disciples to come and to follow. And so they went and followed Jesus. They saw the human side to Jesus Christ. They saw him feel tired. They saw him feel hungry. They experienced him sleeping, etc. Right? You get all these things. That's after Christ called them to come and to follow. You see, they followed Jesus and they became disciples. But in the back of their mind, you can just imagine, they're also asking that very same question. Who is this Jesus? Who are we following? Now, up to a certain point, we see in the gospel reading, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Jesus takes 3 disciples, Peter, James, and John, up a high mountain, probably Mount Tabor, in the Holy Land. And they go up this mountain, and then Jesus revealed to them who he really is. Who is this Christ? So listen to the very words of the Gospel of St. Luke. While he was praying, that is Jesus, his face changed in appearance, and his clothing became dazzling white. And as we continue reading, Luke adds the following details. Peter and his companions had been overcome by sleep, but becoming fully awake, they saw his glory. From the cloud came a voice that said, "This is my chosen son. Listen to him." You see, the disciples have always known about the human side to Jesus, but here they experience his divinity. You see, the transfiguration of Jesus reveals to the disciples who he truly is, his divinity. So why is the transfiguration important? Well, because it's a foreshadowing, or in other words, a prefiguration of the resurrection to come. It's revealing to these disciples who Jesus is and what they are to look forward to. That is the resurrection. And so you see, in times of suffering, the disciples then will reflect on this transfiguration to realize the great glory that is to come, the glory that is on the other side. You see then, the transfiguration is the promise of hope. It is the source of hope. So we turn to the transfiguration, which points us to the resurrection. Now, additionally, the transfiguration is key to understanding one more concept, and that is the human and the divine. You see, the humanity and divinity of Christ come together here on this mountain. And so we see Jesus as the bridge then, connecting humanity and divinity. Think about it. Like Jesus inviting his disciples to come follow him, Jesus invites you to come follow. Now, of course, as we follow Jesus, we ask, well, who is Jesus? That's natural, right? We need to know who he is, and then we follow Jesus. And then Jesus also says, as we follow, we're following Jesus all the way to the cross first, before the resurrection. Now, think about it this way. If you want to follow Jesus, you need to know who he is. Think about the time when you follow someone. Someone says, well, follow me. And you're following this person. Next thing you know, you're distracted. You're looking in this direction. You're looking in that direction. And eventually, you look around and you're like, whoa, where is this person? Where'd he go? Right? You're distracted. Or imagine another scenario where, let's say, for example, you and a friend decide to go to a certain place. And you're both driving, and your friend says, follow me. Imagine if you're following your friend and you get distracted, you're looking around and you're looking around and you're looking at different places. Next thing you know, you ask, well, where is this guy? And you're lost, right? So following Jesus means that you keep your focus on him and you learn more about who Christ is. As well, there are lots of distractions, just like in following a person, in this journey of life. Next thing you know, you're following Jesus, and then you look around, oh, this looks enticing, oh, this looks nice, and next thing you know, you're lost, right? That can be very problematic. So be careful. As you journey with Jesus, then I invite you to learn more about Christ. It's only in deepening in your knowledge of Jesus Christ that you end up following him more closely and more deeply. And a resource, one of many, is going to the website studymyfaith.com. You can find lots of resources and information where you can learn more about your faith. It all begins with learning your faith. May the transfiguration of Christ then be the source of hope, especially in moments in our lives when we're facing trials and difficulties. And I want to leave you with one last thought. Just like the 3 disciples who met Christ on this mount, right? Who saw him transform in his divinity, every week, and for some of you, daily, you see Christ transform in the sacrament of the Holy Eucharist. Whenever you go to the Mass, you see Christ present, truly present, on the altar. And when you receive him into your body, into your life, he is truly present in your life. Keep your focus then always on Christ.